Hello and welcome to the Diamond Report for Wednesday, May 10th, 2017. This is your host, Doug Diamond. It's currently 10:45 p.m. and as you can see in the center of your screen here, we're looking at a magnitude 6.5 quake in the South Sandwich Islands, which is due east of the southernmost tip of South America. So it's way down there on the globe. You can see how far down it is. I guess if you're a flat earther, that would be almost to the edge of the ice wall. I'm just joking, of course. We have seen an uptick, definitely, in large earthquakes over the last 2 to 3 days, and I can attribute at least some of that to CERN's ramp-up that started on May 8th, and we've talked about this at length previously, and I've mentioned it on my Facebook page as well. Starting on May 8th was when CERN started back with some of their experimentation, and the Awake linear accelerator started up, and of course they retrofitted things, added new, more powerful magnets and things like that. So increasing earthquake activity, especially large activity worldwide, was something to expect only because we saw that happen last time. So since they did that on May 8th, we've seen a magnitude 6.0 and quite a few aftershocks in the Aleutian Islands of Alaska. We've seen a 6.0 near Taiwan, south of Japan. We've seen a 7.0 in Vanuatu, which is in the South Pacific, the West Pacific. And now we've seen a magnitude 6.5 at the South Sandwich Islands. And then, of course, multiple 5s across the globe as well. We've got one in Peru. We've got 1 or 2 there in Central America, and then a new one that's just happened today in the Yukon territories of Canada, which is a little unusual. Not so much the movement there, but just the fact that it's a magnitude 5. So that's pretty unusual. And then you know, another one in the Middle East. So, you know, we're definitely seeing an uptick in larger quakes. We're currently looking at the last 72 hours. So that's everything over the last 72 hours. So that takes us back clear through May 8th, the beginning of May 8th. From the beginning of May 8th through the end of the 10th. That's what we're looking at, really. So normally what I do is look at the last 48 hours, which would be here, and then everything magnitude 2.0 and greater worldwide. So I'll show you that really quickly. Pretty normal activity across the Middle East and Europe for the most part. There's another new deep quake here that's a magnitude 4 that will generally translate into larger, shallower movement west of there. And then we've got another brand new magnitude 4.0 quake near Fiji that will also translate to larger, shallower movement north and west of where that is in a silent zone. And currently we do have a silent zone, which it tends to be a pretty frequent silent zone, Solomon Islands and eastern Papua New Guinea out in here. That's a silent zone that does seem to crop up quite a few times. And then there's also a volcano right there as well. So sometimes that volcano will give off more of a magnitude 5.0 equivalent with a blast instead of an actual earthquake. Anyway, that's what we're looking at as far as globally what's going on. And let's go ahead and move on to the headlines. We'll come back to earthquakes again tomorrow night. And yesterday's top headline was President Trump fires FBI Director James Comey. And as a follow-up to that, blindsided James Comey thought he was being pranked when he was fired, flashed up on the TV while he spoke to FBI employees in LA. How's that for a surprise, learning you were fired watching it on TV? Of course, he thought it was a joke. Comey's temporary replacement is also embroiled in Clinton scandal. Andrew McCabe's wife received money from a Hillary fundraiser. Fun fact, Nixon never fired the director of the FBI. President gets trolled by Tricky Dickey's library, leaving critics to ask if this is Trump's Saturday Night Massacre. Trump mocks Comey backlash. President accuses crying Chuck Schumer of hypocrisy after Senate Minority Leader claims firing of FBI director has shattered the criminal justice system. That's a joke. It was already shattered. Chinese military launch missiles and test weapons close to North Korea amid World War III fears. Kim Jong-un's nuclear obsession could wreck Korean peace talks, Seoul's new leader warned. Baltimore has become a rotting, decaying war zone as a raging opioid epidemic eats away at the city like cancer. That's from Michael Snyder of the Economic Collapse blog. Global markets thrown for a loop after Comey's shocking sacking. That's on Zero Hedge. J.P. Morgan, Comey's dismissal saps Trump's political capital at the worst possible time. Trump slams Democrats for defending Comey. Quote, they'll be thanking me. That's also on Zero Hedge. FBI in turmoil over Comey ouster. Chaos ensues as the search for a new director gets underway. And I would only ask, what took Trump so long? Why did it take him this long to get rid of this guy? He should have done that as one of the first things when he got in office. Emergency crews begin work on collapsed nuclear facility tunnel in the latest update. WikiLeaks offers to hire James Comey. That is funny. The real reason Trump fired James Comey, according to Politico. Exclusive, James Comey threw the reputation of the FBI under the bus, says Bureau's former assistant director. That's on Breitbart. The unconventional president, Donald Trump, shakes Washington to its core by firing Comey. These people just act like the world's ending or something. Celebrities melt down over Comey firing. Full-blown constitutional crisis, they're calling it. No, it's not. You know what? There's nothing about the FBI in the Constitution. The FBI, like all government agencies, is completely unconstitutional. It shouldn't even exist. Therefore, it cannot be a full-blown constitutional crisis. It just can't. Man who was jailed in North Korea drops a bombshell. There's a lot more Americans locked up here than anyone knows. That's on shtfplan.com. Russian FM Lavrov on FBI chief's dismissal. Are you kidding me? That's on Sputnik News. Steve Quayle alert. Warning for power grid takedown. Cyber shutdown is much easier than nuclear EMP. That's on stevequayle.com, which we go there and look at the headlines every single day. X22 report, big banks pushing smaller banks to merge deposits before the bank runs begin. Turkey warns U.S. against arming Syrian Kurd, quote, terrorists, ponders end of strategic partnership. That's on RT. Second German soldier arrested in false flag plot to assassinate pro-refugee politicians. Trump's decision to terminate Comey is now delaying his economic reform schedule. That's on Zero Hedge. Germany, 7 refugees on trial for setting homeless man on fire at Christmas. That's on Information Liberation. I remember when that happened. A professor says in order to be equal, in order to be liberated, some white people may have to die. That's clearly already happening in places like South Africa, where they have white genocide. Early candidates emerging to take over as FBI director include veteran NYPD boss and bare-knuckle fighting sheriff. Unhinged GQ host Olbermann to President Trump, quote, to hell with you, you MFing traitor. That's on the Gateway Pundit. Sounds a little bitter, I think. Fox expert Harridge says Comey was fired because he refused to reveal Obama unmaskers. That's on the Gateway Pundit. French election a catastrophe for world peace. That's from Paul Craig Roberts. And from ActivistPost.com, U.S. and Jordanian forces build up on Syria and the Jordan border, possible invasion on the horizon. It's out of the question. France's prime minister refuses to work with Emmanuel Macron. Macron was diagnosed a psychopath by a leading European psychiatrist. Now, why didn't we hear about that before he got elected? Sheriff Clark vows to arrest Hillary Clinton. The Wall Street Journal defends Comey ouster. Comey deserved dismissal, they say. Trump says meeting with Russian FM Lavrov was, quote, very good. That's on RT. Soros-funded groups behind anti-Trump corporate targeting campaign. That's on Free Beacon. Assange truth bomb. Incompetent CIA is responsible for ISIS and Al-Qaeda. Exclusive North Korean defector who now mocks Kim in artwork calls on Trump to help topple the dictator, saying war is unavoidable. His wife ran for political office as a Democrat. Kellyanne Conway insists temporary FBI bosses Clinton's fundraising ties are proof the president didn't politicize Comey's firing. That's a good point. Foreign states preparing cyber attacks on infrastructure in future war. Who will replace Comey? Here are 7 possible names. Before he was fired, Comey asked for significant increase in funds for Russia probe. DOJ denies. That's on Zero Hedge. Boy, it seems like the world's ending, doesn't it? This whole Comey thing. Again, the FBI is illegitimate. The FBI is unconstitutional. It's completely... Go look it up in the enumerated powers. It's not there. Teenage devil worshipper scrawls 666 across veil, quote, touched by Jesus. That's on the Express. Nuclear shield against North Korea now faces shutdown as Kim gets more dangerous than ever. That's on the Daily Star. James Comey's Democrat critics now see Russian conspiracy in Trump's firing. Of course they do. That's on Breitbart. Scientists now pushing faith as the most important factor in climate change. If you believe it's real, then it's real. That's on Natural News. Yes, but climate change is only in part true. It's climate changed with a D because it's been changed intentionally using geoengineering, and they always leave that out of the equation. Google rewrites algorithm to manually crush independent media because mainstream media's lies can't compete with the truth on a level playing field. That's also on Natural News. Fukushima wildfire revives worries over airborne radiation from difficult to return zone. Also on Natural News. South Korea election makes it clear war with the North is off the table. Let's hope. Ivanka pushes Trump to push global warming as Earth enters new ice age. But we're not entering a new ice age. We're getting hotter and hotter and hotter, and the only places that are cold are chemically engineered. It's called chemical ice nucleation. Look it up. Geoengineeringwatch.org. Global warming is real, folks. You don't have to call it that, but there is no ice age coming. I guarantee that. And thank you, Paul Martin, for including this headline from Dane Wigington of geoengineeringwatch.org, Geoengineering Frequency Transmissions and Weather Warfare. And Paul says it's a must-read. Yes, it is. What if everything we're being told about the U.S. North Korea tensions is wrong? That's on activistpost.com. Well, that would be called propaganda, and that's probably the case. Tucker Carlson says Comey firing is overdue. Everyone in Washington knows it. That's on Breitbart. Fake news media hid the fact that Mexico was the world's second deadliest country with 23,000 murders in 2016. North Korea says it plans a 6th nuclear test as South Korean president says he is willing to meet Kim Jong-un to try and smooth relations. New tactic emerges as Obama's ex-lawyers sue Trump over Syria attack. That's on Sputnik News. Just the beginning. FBI chief's dismissal shows stakes are high in D.C. internal struggle. Trump meets with Kissinger after Kissinger met with China over North Korea. Why is Henry Kissinger even involved in anything? Who cares what he thinks? I know he's a globalist, but why even have him involved in anything? Trump risks war with Beijing and Pyongyang as president sends warships to South China Sea. Globalism is not what it seems. Islamists are directly involved in the plan to destroy nation-states. Calls to investigate crooked Hillary gain steam amid Comey firing. Well, they should. She should be prosecuted. Driver in suspected DUI hit-and-run crash that severely injured a 6-year-old boy returning from Disneyland has been deported 15 times. Deep State pushes coup against Trump over Comey firing. Deep State is trying to use a continuity of government, COG, mechanism already in place to overthrow the entire Trump administration. If you ask me, it's working. And then from Dave Hodges of the Common Sense Show, Trump is purging the deep state. Well, Trump got rid of one guy. I wouldn't call that a purge. When Best Buy is the worst buy, corporations separating the public from their money. That's also from Dave Hodges. And from Daily Star, North Korea declares hundreds of millions in U.S. will die, warning war will ignite. China warns Washington its latest missile can sink a U.S. aircraft carrier. That's on Zero Hedge. And a web exclusive on Skywatch TV, and I would just say this is a don't miss, Steve Quayle and Timothy Alberino, True Legends, Giants Part 4. There Were Giants, The Holocaust of Giants is our new title for our DVD. Yes, that's the third installment of the True Legends documentary series. Very good stuff. And then another link to Dane Wigington's article, Geoengineering, Frequency Transmissions, and Weather Warfare. And Steve Quayle says, one of the most important articles addressing chemtrails and geoengineering ever written. A must read. That's some very kind words, and thank you, Steve. I'll say thank you from Dane himself. Yes, it is a great article, and of course, Steve Quayle, if you don't know, is the guy who broke the truth about chemtrails. I don't know if he actually coined the phrase, but he is the first person to start talking publicly about it and weather warfare. And he has a book called Weather Wars. Freak hailstorm blankets Denver metro area. A furious hailstorm engulfed the Denver metro area on May 8th, filling the streets with hail the size of golf balls within minutes. And then Steve says, see geoengineering article that precedes this one. So yes, that's exactly right. That's what I was going to say. Another geoengineering weather warfare scenario. Why you shouldn't wear a nose ring. Please understand there's an absolute war on for your mind. Common sense is not a gift, it's a punishment. Because you have to deal with everyone that doesn't have it. Vatican to investigate Belgian Catholic hospitals for deciding to euthanize sick people. That's on lifesitenews.com. Experiment with terrorist rehab fails first U.S. test. That's on WND.com. Major media organized to rig web search results. That's on strategic-culture.org. Superbugs may be more widespread than previously thought. That's on SGT report. And then, as I mentioned in the earthquake update, this is the official Times of India release. Earthquake in Vanuatu, 6.8 magnitude earthquake hits. New president wants South Korea to learn to say no to America and improve relations with Kim Jong-un. That's on RT. The hushed chronic disease and disability epidemic that promises to bankrupt America. That's on Health Nut News. Scientists successfully 3D print human cartilage with a breakthrough stem cell printer. That's on Natural News. Source claims that Comey firing could result in the release of documents and potential new Clinton probe. That's on disobedientmedia.com. Bag carrying remains of aborted babies fell off a garbage truck. Witness saw arms and legs flung apart. So sick. That's on lifenews.com. Manhattan Project scientists warn. Clock is ticking. Probability of global catastrophe is very high. That's on All News Pipeline. Colbert audience cheers Comey's firing, then gets rebuked by Colbert. And then they change to jeering Trump. Liberals watch these late night shows as some sort of weird therapy. That's a good description. That's on Information Liberation. With Comey gone, Trump has clear but dangerous path to drain the D.C. swamp. I don't think so. I don't think it's that easy. EU darling Macron wants banks to flood Paris after Brexit, warns top exec. Former Rothschild banker will serve globalist interests before the French. That's on the Daily Express. Sean Hannity says Comey is a national embarrassment. Comey disrespected the Constitution at every turn, says Hannity. Yes, he did. That's on Breitbart. And I posted this article on my Facebook page the other day. Jakarta's Christian governor jailed for blasphemy against Islam. Critics fear harsher than expected ruling will embolden hardline Islamist forces. And speaking of hardline Islamists, if you get a chance, please tune into our interview on Sunday night on Lost Arts Radio with a heroine, wonderful woman. Her name is Sandra Solomon. She is a former Muslim, now a Christian, escaped from Saudi Arabia with her life after refusing to wear a hijab. And that's on Lost Arts Radio, Sunday night the 14th at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. How AI will destroy freedom. Globalist technocrats want AI to replace humanity. Real versus fake. Can you tell the difference? The truth about Obamacare revealed. War propaganda reaches new heights at CNN. Unbelievable warmongering by CNN proves they are run by globalists. Well, was there any doubt? A study, majority of Americans believe U.S. is losing its culture and identity. Almost half of white working class feel like a stranger in their own country. Sad but true. Trump to Russia, quote, rein in the Assad regime. President discusses foreign policy in the White House meeting with Russian foreign minister. Arizona radio station airs PSA on how to hide child porn. Triggers backlash and investigation. PSA was running in late evening and early morning hours for more than 2 years. Majority of unemployed Americans want Obamacare repealed, illegal immigration stopped. That's on Free Beacon. Well, that's all for today's Diamond Report. Thanks for listening and watching. And if you would, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. The more subscribers I have, the more weight their system will give my videos. Therefore, it will show up in searches a little bit better. So thanks for that. And also, I've got a Diamond Report Facebook page. If you'll go and like that, that would be very helpful as well. And if you're sharing the show, thank you very much to those who do that. I think I can probably count on one hand the number of people doing that, but I do appreciate that. And if you're not sharing the show, well, why not? I mean, I'm trying to make it easy for you. I'm trying to put it all in one place so that you can get accurate and good real news very quickly and easily. So it's not a guilt trip. I'm just saying, hey, you know, do your part. I'm trying to do mine. So I will talk to you tomorrow.